Happy holidays, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the last lecture for this semester for the DSM-5 update class. I thought I would bring this to you in video format this week and save your poor tired eyeballs from having to read any more than you've already read this term. You certainly have covered a lot of ground. So here we are in our last week and a half of term. We have today, Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we have next week for finals week. So we just have a few final little things to get through here. You have your readings for this week, which covers, what is this week? Conditions for further study and DSM-5 bonus features. The bonus features is online assessment measures that's provided by APA, and the link there is www.psychiatry.org is on your syllabus. So please do go there and check out the varied and sundry assessment instruments that DSM has put together. They're available online and free for your enjoyment and use. I think you'll find some that are kind of interesting. So have a look at those. And then you'll also be reading about the section on conditions for further study, which is our assigned group discussion topic for this week. You also have due this week on the 7th, your 5th of the 5 essays for this class. This is on the neurocognitive disorders to online bonuses. I did send out an email yesterday, hopefully you all received that, to try and clarify the instructions. I didn't write it really well when I first put the syllabus together, so hopefully that clarifies it. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message. I'll be happy to answer them. And then your last task shall be your final essay. The syllabus says that your final essay is due by December 14th. It is basically an essay describing, it's a kind of a reaction paper to the class. So the impact the class has had on you, on your understanding of diagnosis, as well as kind of your best guesstimates as to how you think it might impact or is impacting your clinical work. And that's due by December 14th. I will tell you that I will accept it early. The syllabus says as early as December 7th, which is still a couple, 3 days away. But I'll take it as early as today. But the one criteria is that you have to have finished everything else. So you have to finish the readings, and you have to have done the online discussion group, and you have to have submitted your last essay. And once those are in, then feel free to go ahead and shoot me your final exam essay. If you want to get that out even earlier, I'm happy to get it sooner. And since grades are due just a handful of days after the 14th, it's better for me if I have them sooner. So I have kind of less of a crush to get all these things graded. So yeah, that's it for this semester. So for this class, congratulations on completing this class and any other classes that you are participating in this term. And know that that's always a great sense of relief and accomplishment to have it all behind you. So well done. I congratulate you all. Just kind of briefly, a couple of other thoughts for you about the class. You know, I was asked to put together this class for students who had recently taken the psychopathology class, basically where you learn DSM and its application. And, you know, you guys would have taken it with DSM-4, and obviously 5 had just been released back in May. And so the school wanted to provide you a course which would give you kind of a ability to update yourself from the differences between 4 and 5. And so that really was the design intent of the design of this course, to kind of help you to get current on what's different. And as you can tell from the nature of especially the discussion groups and some of the essays, I've tried to focus some of your energy on identifying, highlighting, and reacting to those changes. Now, with that said, I also realized when I was designing the class that, you know, you guys are grad students, and you certainly don't need me to hold your hand to read through DSM-5 on your own so that you can read the differences, because you can do that for yourself. I thought that I needed to offer you more than just kind of an accountability schedule to break out the readings of this, you know, massive tome and, you know, spread it out over the course of a semester so that it's manageable. And certainly that was certainly a benefit and part of what I tried to accomplish for you guys. But I also wanted it to be something that was more valuable for you as professionals and as individuals. As a person who came into the field not too long after we had moved from this edition, which was DSM-2, into this edition, which was DSM-3, you know, I know what it is like to come in right after the launch of a new edition of the Diagnostic Manual. And I realize now that, looking back on it, that I took a lot of DSM at face value. The philosophy, the underpinnings, the historical foundations, the premises, the relative scientific rigor, all of those things. I just assumed that because I was being taught these things in grad school that these were true. Obviously, you know, time has shown us that some of those things were maybe not as true as we thought they were. Thus, a lot of the changes that have happened over the years with the different iterations of DSM-3 and 3R and 4 and 4TR and now 5. So much so that it's almost difficult to be able to look at this book and to really see it as an offspring of DSM-2, much less DSM-1, the original one. And certainly DSM-5 may actually be the single most notorious edition that has come out. I think that DSM-3 was disturbing in the field, but it was really disturbing only in one primary way, and that was that we were kind of jettisoning, we were cutting loose some of our ties to the philosophical or theoretical underpinnings that DSM-1 had been and DSM-2 had been founded in, and that was the psychoanalytic theory and model of human functioning. And DSM-3 was the first move towards a more scientific / medical basis kind of model. And that didn't make a lot of people very happy. I think the field at large was predominated by psychiatrists and analysts in particular. And there were a fair number of the psychologists in the field at the time that were kind of analytically oriented, because it was kind of the predominant modality or orientation at the time. And the next second most popular orientation was psychodynamic. So there was a lot of, let's say, bias and prejudice against the new DSM. But we didn't have the technology that we have today to make communication about these issues as simple and as easy as it is today. So individual opinions weren't quite as easy to express and have it heard and recognized as it is today. But still, even so, trying to kind of consider those differences, because certainly there are way more people in the field now than there were then. I still think DSM-5 kind of hands down has it, because there are so many controversial issues with this book in so many different ways, as well as the manner in which the revisions and changes were brought about. I think was also a significant change from how things have been handled in the past. And I think that also precipitated some of the negative reactions that people had. And not unjustly, by the way, in my own opinion. But nonetheless, this is what we have to work with. And I think that this book, DSM-5, it is such a dominant force in our field that as I created this class, I wanted you all to be able to have an understanding of, an appreciation for how it was constructed, how it was modified from what we had pre-existing to this, and to be able to approach it from a critical view, not a naive view where you just kind of accept things as true simply because it's printed in a book and used around the world. I suspect that in the next edition of DSM, whether that be a stepwise progression with a 5R in another 5 years, or whether it be DSM-6 whenever that comes out, I think you will see even further changes at that point in time. And hopefully, more or less, they're all better changes. And hopefully, to some degree, many of the changes that are in 5 turn out to be better changes for consumers as well as for professionals. So, when I kind of got done thinking about, you know, kind of my goals and objectives for the class, they came out like this, and this is what you see in your syllabus. The course objectives were to prepare students to be competent in using DSM-5 in any setting, to expose students to a wide range of opinions regarding the new DSM, and to challenge them to think critically about these opinions. Thirdly, for students to master an understanding of the structural changes to 5, as well as the content changes for all of the categories. And finally, for students to interact with DSM-5 development process and the organizational and socio-political forces at play that help to shape the new DSM. Hopefully, in your eyes, we have managed to meet those objectives. Like I said, designed for students who had recently taken the psychopathology class, had thoroughly learned all of the application of and the differences between diagnosing, people in these different conditions, so that really all we had to do is update you with what the changes were. This really wasn't a class designed to make you competent in diagnosis. It was designed to make you competent in the use of 5 in diagnosing based on your pre-existing competence in diagnosis. So that was kind of the idea. And that's why we had so many of the kind of additional readings, the articles, reactionary and whatnot, about the different changes that we saw in 5, so that we could get you to the rest of these goals with thinking critically about the changes, to formulating your own opinions about these changes and diagnosis in general, so that you are well prepared to function in whatever setting you wind up in or are in whenever they get around to adopting 5 or making you use it. And I'm sure they all will sooner or later, because it hadn't been pulled from shelves by this point in time. It's not going to get pulled. So if a boycott was going to work, it would have already had its benefit, and we're hearing nothing about it. So I don't think that 5 is going to be pulled, and I don't think we're going back to 4. Everybody will be adopting 5 sooner or later. Okay, with that said, it has been my pleasure and honor to have done my best to serve you guys in this task for this class. I've enjoyed getting to interact with you all. I've had the pleasure of meeting some of you face-to-face, and some of the rest of you just online through emails and whatnot. But I've enjoyed it nonetheless. So thank you for sticking with me for this class, and congratulations on nearly being out the door. And just think, in just a little more than a week, it'll all be behind you, and you'll be done. So I'll keep you and your preparations for your last 2 weeks of class in my prayers for the next couple of weeks, and I wish you all the best of luck. Hope to see you around campus.